If you have not seen anywhere on social media that kids are going on scavenger hunts for teddy bears, um, I'm telling you. So find a teddy bear in your house and put it in the window because itty bitties that are walking around with their families are using this as an exercise to go count and just have something to look for. So teddy bear, it was so amazing just realizing how old our kids are, 10 and 13. I was like, hey, I need a teddy bear, and I couldn't find one. This was like something taken off my daughter's backpack. So there's one teddy bear I'm like freaking out though that we can't find that my daughter had ever since she was in her crib. So we have to find Mr. Bear. John Kerr actually gave that to her, one of our good lifeguarding buddies, and she loved it. She kept it forever. Oh, it was John Kerr's mom. That's right. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. I have some good news. So if you haven't had a chance, I don't know how, I was just talking to one of my clients about how, I feel like I'm spending 100% of my workday and I'm working really, really long hours right now, just interpreting the information that's coming from the state and from my brokerage and the questions that are coming up in transactions as we go forward trying to figure out a way to operate in this new universe, which we're like, I think we're pretty much 100% there. But it's just taken enough time to like go through all these different scenarios. Does this break the governor's law? Does this put us in a position where we're committing a criminal act? Can we do this for a client? Is it okay to facilitate this for a client? Because, our number one concern is like being able to keep the transaction moving forward or help someone buy or sell a house right now. But we're sure as heck not going to put them in a position to be breaking the law and inadvertently put themselves in a position where bad things could happen later and they could be held liable for that. So we're there, but it's just taken a lot of back and forth, plus all the conversations we're having with our clients that are currently in escrow, like a normal 5-minute decision, because that's what we do in our business is we consult, like, here's the situation we're in. You can take this path, or this path. This is the risk and reward of each of those decisions. Like those conversations, which typically take anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes at the most, take hours and hours now because there's usually questions involved in them. Well, what if this happens? Or anyway, so it's been fun. But what I've realized is there's some other things that are coming out that are really good news I didn't have a chance to look at. So I just got a minute to really review the CARES Act, the stimulus package. And there's some really, really, really amazing stuff in here. So if you haven't had a chance to look, I'm going to tell you now. So here's just kind of the high level stuff. Hi, Brady. So we're talking about the stimulus package and the CARES Act and what's coming from this. So individuals earning less than $75,000 get a one-time cash payment of $1,200. Married couples, oh, my phone's ringing all over the place. Married couples would each receive a check, and families would get $500 per child. That means a family of 4 earning less than $150,000 can expect $3,400. This is all based off of, hi, Paul. This is all based off of tax information that's already been delivered to the federal government. You don't even have to apply for it. They just take it based on your last filing, and the check will be mailed to you within 3 weeks. So if you haven't filed for 2018, you need to get on that. That could delay your ability to receive stimulus. So unemployment. States will continue to pay unemployment to people who qualify. This stimulus bill adds $600 per week from the federal government on top of whatever the base amount a worker receives from the state, and the boosted payment will last for 4 months. There is $10 billion in grants for up to $10,000 in emergency funds for small businesses to cover immediate operating costs. There's $350 billion that was allocated to the SBA, the Small Business Administration, to provide loans of up to $10 million per business. So any portion of that loan that's used to maintain payroll, keep workers on the books, or pay for rent, mortgage, existing debt could be forgiven, provided the workers stay employed through the end of June. Typically, self-employed people, freelancers, and contractors can't apply for unemployment. And this bill creates a new temporary pandemic unemployment assistance program representing $600 per week through the end of the year, helping people who lose work as a direct result of the public health emergency. Hi, Laura. Hi, Vicki. Hi, Paul. Hi, John. Thanks for joining. So that's just kind of high level stuff about what's going on in the CARES Act. And I got this actually from my brokerage, and then it linked to a New York Times article that has a bunch of frequently asked questions, and there's so much amazing information in this article. So I'm going to send it to all of you. There's links to like sign up. It looks like it's pretty simple. I'll also provide a link to the SBA site, and it looks really intuitive. And the one piece of advice I'm getting from my coaches and the people who that I really trust, even for me, is like apply. If you don't need the money, you don't need the money, but you can't get the money if you don't apply, so you should apply. I need to plug in my computer. Hang on one second. Okay, so let me tell you some of these frequently asked questions, because some of them are really specific, and I think questions that lots of people would ask. So, do college students get anything? No. So if you are claimed as a dependent on a tax return, you do not get any of this stimulus money. And usually students that are under 24 are considered dependents as college kids. So that's something to keep in mind for any of you that have college age kids. Excuse me while I plug in. There we go. They're looking at 2019 income. So if you haven't prepared a tax return yet, you can use your 2018 return. If you haven't filed that yet, then you can use the 2019 Social Security statement showing your income to see what the employer reported to the IRS. Okay. You don't have to apply. Like I said before, the Internal Revenue Service already has your bank account information. It would transfer the money to you via direct deposit based on the recent income tax figures it already has. If you live in Canada, my very good friend and an accountability partner, Paul Rushforth, is on here. So if you're a Canadian, I want to direct you to him because he's going to get you the information you need. Okay, if my payment doesn't come soon, they say that the payment should come within 3 weeks. And so if you're like, I'm not getting my payment, what's happening? It says, according to the bill, you're going to get a paper notice in the mail no later than a few weeks after your payment has been dispersed. That notice would contain information about where the payment ended up and in what form it was made. If you couldn't locate the payment at that point, then it's time to contact the IRS using the information on the notice. What if I haven't filed my tax returns recently? Would that affect my ability to receive a payment? Yes, it could. File a return immediately, at least for 2018, according to the IRS site. Those without 2018 tax filings on record could potentially affect mailings of stimulus checks. There's some other great stuff. Eligible unemployed people get stimulus payments. Yes. Veterans get stimulus payments. Yes. Do U.S. citizens living abroad get payments? Yes, as long as they meet the income requirements and have a Social Security number. Do I have to pay income taxes on the amount of my payment? No. Awesome. If my income tax refunds are currently being garnished because of a student loan default, would this payment be garnished as well? No. In fact, the bill temporarily suspends nearly all efforts to garnish tax refunds to repay debts, including those to the IRS itself. But this waiver may not apply to people who are behind on child support. So a bunch of stuff about unemployment and self-employed people. It does, what if my child's school or daycare shut down? If you rely on a school, a daycare, or another facility to care for a child or elderly parent, and that facility has been shut down because of coronavirus, you would be eligible. There's a couple things at the end that that I wanted to touch base on, especially the income. I'll see if I can find that here. It says, who does the bill leave out? Workers who are able to work from home and those receiving paid sick leave or paid family leave would not be covered. New entrants to the workforce who cannot find jobs would also be ineligible. Many states already provide, this is for unemployment. I'm going to skip over that. You can read through that. There's a couple more things I wanted to tell you about, but basically, like, there's a lot of really great information in here about how we can all stay afloat, and there's really specific questions that I think would probably address any question you have. Um, it talks about loans. It talks about will my loan servicer charge me interest during the 6-month period for like a delay of having to pay your loan? The bill states that the interest shall not accrue on the loan during the suspension period. Awesome. Let me see. Retirement accounts. I thought this was interesting too. So for the calendar year 2020, no one would have to take a required minimum distribution from any individual retirement account or workplace retirement savings account like a 401k. That way, you are not forced to sell investments that may have fallen in value, which would lock in losses. If you don't need the money now, you can let the investments sit and hope they recover. What if I have to take money out of my IRA or workplace retirement plan early? You could withdraw up to $100,000 this year without the usual 10% penalty. I mean, basically, like any way you go to look at the ways that we're normally penalized for needing money, the federal government is halting interest. It's halting penalties for pulling money out early. So I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I'm going to link to the site. This is very good news. I think it's extremely important that you stop what you're doing at some point over the next 2 to 3 days and read through everything. We're all really busy trying to figure out how to run our businesses, especially if you're a small business owner. But we need to stop and prepare and, do the 3 things that I'm working on, which is to stay healthy and safe. And that involves your finances as well. Keep moving my business forward as much as I can and be ready for what's on the other side of this. So I will put the links to all of this information in the post below. And if any of you have any further information that you think would be helpful, I would love to know what that is so that I can share it as well. And I wanted to share one really quick story that I thought was just awesome. So I'm sure everyone's using Zoom like we are for everything at this point, and there's ways to use Zoom to actually hold like virtual parties. A lot of people doing that on Facebook Live as well, and on FaceTime. But there was a group of people. I believe it was. I don't remember where this was located. Maybe it was in LA. I'm not sure. And so a group of neighbors that regularly frequented a restaurant in the local area, and so they all got on the Zoom call together, and they're having a happy hour, and they invited somebody searched down and found some of the servers at some of the places where they used to frequent, and they started a Venmo account and provided tips for those people. And I just oh man, I thought that was amazing because, the restaurant industry has been hit really, really hard. Most of them, all of them have been laid off. And I just thought that was amazing. So if you can take that back to your community, if you're someone that frequents a restaurant all the time, maybe once a week with a friend, that would be a wonderful way to give back and just to try to keep all of us afloat. Hopefully we'll see you tonight. I think Marcus is going to play again. So we'll see. And so look for that later this evening. Are you coming in?
Yes.
Are you going to play tonight?
Yeah, I'll play.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, cool.
We practiced last night. It was fun.
All right.
It was a pretty funny little blip that I just got. For those of you that live in Del Sur, one of our teachers at Del Sur Elementary is Cheryl Venable.
Venable,
right? And she posted this really cool, actually just made me laugh out loud outside while Ann was doing the post here. It's a mom's guide to whether she has the coronavirus or not. And the first one, actually, I'm going to go through the symptoms, then I'll give you the could be's and the also secondary could be's. So the symptoms could be sore throat, shortness of breath, diarrhea, headache, exhaustion, or loss of taste. Could be coronavirus for any one of those. But it also could be the sore throat because you've yelled at your kid 867 times in the past hour. Shortness of breath could be also because of a panic attack for 9 million different reasons. The diarrhea could be because you can't stop stuffing your face with snacks. And then the headache could be because of constant whining, yelling, arguing, and complaining. Let's see. The exhaustion could also be because of maybe you're doing 5 jobs right now. And then lastly, the loss of taste, and this was it that really made me laugh out loud. Oh crap! If you can't taste chocolate, coffee, wine, you know there's a problem. Hope that made you laugh. Hope that put a smile on your face. Kind of a That's the goal every day. It was one of my favorite things to do a few years ago when I was lifeguarding. I'd go into the workplace every day, and my goal was to get at least one belly laugh out of one person every day, because it's healthy, right? Peace, love, be good to each other, stay healthy and safe.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you tonight, and we'll definitely see you next week. He said he's going to play the guitar again, so that's good. Please post again anything you hear further about the stimulus package. And again, if you are in Canada and you need real estate advice or any information about what's happening up there, please contact Paul Rushforth, and I can get you his contact if you need it. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.